All right, this is part 2 of chapter 3 and 4 notes. We're going to go relatively quick through this set of notes. I will have to transition from the smartboard to the whiteboard. When we get to the pt2 war, I feel like the notes on the whiteboard is a little more detailed than what the PowerPoint gives. So I'll transition back and forth, and there again I will try my best to position the tripod in a way that will make the whiteboard notes a little more clear, even turning the lights on if need be. Okay, so basically what these notes consist of are the conflict with the Native Americans. You need to know too, early colonial conflicts, and then we're going to have a little bit of description as far as these colonies are concerned. We're going to go quick through this just to brief that. What you do need to know as far as the violence that is taking place in the New England colonial era, before the Puritans had arrived in 1920, an epidemic had swept through the Indians, killing over 3/4 of American Indians. As a result of Indians trying to befriend most whites, Wampanoags were near Plymouth colony. There again attempted to isolate themselves. However, cooperation between the two helped by an individual by the name of Squanto, who of course tried to help keep relative peace. 1621, Chief Massasoit would sign treaty with settlers. Autumn 1621 would be the first Thanksgiving. As a result of an element of diplomacy here, praying towns would be established in an attempt to try to convert local Indians to the belief system of Christianity. You need to note that the English colonists are not going to be as assertive as far as mission-minded, as far as religious perspective, as France would be out in New France. We studied that a little bit later on out west. They're not going to be as mission-minded. It is safe to say that the way that they treated Native Americans was very similar to the Spanish. There again with that ulterior motive. It's questionable as to, you know, the intent. Are we trying to Christianize, or are we trying to develop sort of Christianity among the Indians in order for an easier source of encroachment? And I think we could make a plausible argument of the latter there. So that there was some ulterior motives in that, and of course sources would share that with us. So there again, that is of course what's taking place. Now I'm going to have to transition over to the whiteboard. All right, so Pequot Wars from 1636 to 1637. We're going to omit what you see on the slide here because it doesn't give you a very detailed description. So I'm sorry for the movement here, but I'm going to move it over, and I may have to adjust it a little bit. You know, I could stop and, you know, trim this out, but, you know, I really don't care that much as far as doing that. And oh boy, there's, you know, some glare. So that's going to help Sarah give you out a whole lot. But anyway, I can try to flip the lights on and we'll go over these notes here. Maybe this helps. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I mean, if you can't see that, then, you know, maybe a visit with an optometrist might be a better, you know, option for you there. But anyway, not to be discouraging. All right, so we're going to talk a minute about the Pequot War in 1636 and 1637. So as colonial establishment takes place, as population begins to surge, There again, we're dealing with the element of encroachment. You see the key term here, all right, of encroachment. There again, when you're writing, you need to make sure that you are slanting your essay in and around the idea of encroachment. That's what writers want you to write about if you're writing about conflict, okay? Encroachment, they want to see you manifest that in your writing. But that's just a tip there. That has been addressed to me, on several professional developments around advanced placement when we're writing about this. Inform the student to implement encroachment in their paper. So that's just to help you out a little bit. All right, so some of the things that's going to build up to war, there again, you're going to have land rights. There again, disputes as far as, which land belongs to whom. Of course, the American Indian thinks it's theirs. The colonist thinks, that they can claim it. So there's the element of encroachment. Another issue is domestic livestock trouble. There again, much of your colonists are going to bring their domesticated livestock, and of course they're going to have the tendency to sort of free range a little bit, and at times they would get into American Indians' gardens and things like that, which had the tendency then to break down relations. Hunting ground disputes as well. Who received what as far as, hunting is concerned. So there again, there's the feeling of encroachment. Now, as far as the relations, as far as colonists and the Pequot tribe, we're going to continue to deteriorate. The English is going to side with the Mohegan and the Narragansett. They, of course, are enemies of the Pequot tribe. They're going to side with those two American Indian tribes because they want to be able to maintain a trade dominance. They had a very successful time, so to speak, as far as being able to trade with those two American Indian tribes. Eventually what's going to happen is a group of Pequot Indians are going to kill colonists, so it's kind of speculative and it's kind of debatable as far as, was it the Pequot tribe that murdered the group of colonists, or was it the allies of a Pequot tribe? So that's kind of lost in translation a little bit. Most would say that it was Pequot, but then some say it could be the allies. So either or. But nevertheless, a group of colonists, of course, was killed. So what's going to happen? The colonists' hands is going to go up, and they're going to go on the defense. And an individual by the name of John Mason, along with colonists, are going to compile together with the Native American allies, and they are going to surround the village at the Mystic River. And they will set fire, and they will shoot any one of those American Indians who would attempt to flee. And nobody was left. Women, children, all were shot and killed. It was estimated that some 700 Pequot Indians were killed. It did have the tendency, the tribe was exterminated. They were either exterminated by means of death, or for those that remain were sold into slavery into the West Indies. So it is safe to say that there was an extermination of the Pequot tribe. The Range War would end, and of course, as a result of that, the colonists would expand. Now, at the conclusion of the Pequot War, you're going to have, a time period of peace. For the most part. So that sort of gives you a little more detailed description as far as the Pequot War. I will show you the visual in that. I think it's on the notes somewhere. I'm not for sure. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe it's not. All right, never mind. All right, so there again, we will note as well that in 1643, after the Pequot War, this is very important to write down, that the New England Confederation would be formed, that you see up here on the right. Now, the purpose behind that is for political and a military alliance. The colonists are unsure of, as far as where the Native Americans are. They're unsure of the Dutch, and they're unsure of France, New France out west. And when we say out west, we're referring to what we would say present day Indiana, what you might say Missouri, that particular region. That's about as far west as far as European settlement as of right now. But they're unsure, so therefore they say it may be our best interest to have an alliance here. So there again, this is important. New England Confederation is the first time of colonial unity. Make sure you write that down. Colonies are bonding. This lays the foundation for the American Revolution. Very, very good writing point. If you're writing something about colonial unity as far as during the American Revolution, and you have to jump time periods as far as the synthesis connection, right here it is, all right? New England Confederation is as far back as 1643. All right, so make sure that you write that down. This is showing the first time that colonies are uniting. And I guess it's good that they did, because as time progresses, I'm gonna have to move the tripod here, so try not to shake it too bad. We're going back to the smart board. I'll kill the lights here. All right, so it's good that, of course, that they created this New England Confederation. I'm sure they were glad that they did, because by the time frame we get to 1675 and 1676, the colonists will have another skirmish on their hand. And so what is going to take place is known as King Philip's War. He is referred to, of course, as King Philip to white settlers because of his large stature, but of course his Native American name would be